Hello viewers, and welcome to the eSeniors GT3 Championship taking place at Zolder. And I think the track map up there is actually the wrong track map, but hey ho, I'll change that in time. This is the team's Constructors race, and it's taking place at Kyhalami. So quite an interesting track. Technical areas throughout, but actually quite a quick track. You get the corners and the setup right, you can get a lot of time out of this. And I reckon qualification's going to be the 141s, 142s. So that's going to give you a taste of where this could actually go. A lot of drivers are running the 143, so I think it's going to be quite a packed race this towards the just behind the starters all the way down the field. Everyone seems to be quite balanced on this track. Now, obviously there's been a few updates as we know, and maybe the setup of the cars is quite equal now with the tyres. Can cause you a problem with your tyres though at the front on this track, so you've really got to get your tyres balanced so you can last a 50-minute race. So qualifying's 20 minutes. And racing's 50 minutes. Let's have a quick peek at the table and let's see where everyone's at. So as you can see at the moment, it's been pretty much dominated by Team GB. The races for today, I believe, is Chris Bourne and Andy Skelton. So I know John Saunders and actually just let me check, John Saunders and Chris Bourne. So we've got the two Group 1 racers racing for Team GB today. In second place we have the PWS Esports team. And I believe today it's David Gerard and Mark Christopher who are representing that team with a total of 596. Beyond that then we've got Team Burning Moose, Lars and Andreas in the McLaren, 569. And then behind them we've got Rhythm Tech, which is Jeremy and Neil. Jeremy's not racing today, he's being represented by Jaime Andy Goddard, who's sitting in for him as Jeremy recovers from a bout of sickness. Hopefully Jeremy will be back soon, so a big shout out to Jeremy there, get well soon my friend. And their score is currently 542. Beyond that, we've then got HDD Racing, which is Kai and Kenneth. In the Bentley, 501. Team West Coast, Stefan and Jonathan Woods. So Jonathan Woods back racing again. Great to see back on track in the Lamborghini with 427 points. And then we've got Team Babalas of Tony Whitten and Mark Stevens in the Ferrari Evo with 413 points. Followed by the Bentley Fanatec team of Frank Tennant and Craig Holmes. Now I don't think I've seen Craig Holmes, so Frank Tennant, oh look, Craig Holmes is there, he's joined actually, so they've got a full representation on the server, and they are in the Bentley with 305 points. We've then got Team SRCC, and I think it's Eric and Philip who are representing that team today, as I believe Thierry's getting his rig back up and running again. They're in the Ferrari Evo and they've got a score of 302. Then just behind them we've got Team USA, Krista and Harrison. I know Krista's racing, but I don't believe Harrison is. So they are one driver down, which does impact the scoring somewhat. They're in the Aston Martin with a score of 292. And Team GER are not represented today, so they're going to do not start, in a word, 0 points. So let's go to the racing now, into qualification. We'll go on board and I'll do my usual track guide. A quick hi to the stream. Hi Terry, hi Frank and hi Steve. Hope you're all well, and hopefully this is going to turn out to be quite an exciting race. So as I said, you can already see the drivers getting into the 143s. That's where I think this is going to go, into the 143s, but I do think a 142, a low 142 or a very high 141 will give this. My money's on pole between, it's interesting, John, Chris or Lars. Jonathan Wood's been putting a few laps in, but I don't know whether his lack of time behind the wheel is going to show. David Gerard's always quick as well. So what I will do is I'll see someone who's going to the end of the lap, John Saunders, and then we'll jump on board with John as he comes over and we'll do a bit of a lap guide. So there's some really interesting corner names, shall we say. Just coming through the next to final bend. Ooh, that curb can eat you up, and it has done. He's going to come round the corner and that's going to put him onto the straight. So foot down, flat out, usually keep the car to the right, and there's a little kink in the track to the right, and guess what it's called? It's called the Kink. It's a really inventive name on this track. So off they go, flat out, braking around the 100 metre, and that takes us into the left-hander, which is Crowthorne. The idea is to get the car rotated so you can start putting the power down for the next little bit, which is the junk sky sweep. I can get that out in the end, and then we go through the left-hander called barbecue. So I presume that's where people tend to cook things, or people cook the car. Bubble. Then got a little straight, and then we go to the quick right-hander, Where the idea is to keep as much pace as possible, and this is into the sunset, so the corner's called sunset. Again, get the car left, then drift to the right, and you're braking after the 50, and that takes us into the clubhouse bend. Foot down, keep the car to the right, and you're looking to cut this corner as much as possible without going too far. And this is called the S's. And the right hander uphill, keep your power down, keep the car on track and don't get track limits, through the little kink. And this is called Liu Cop. Down into first, get the corner, get your car rotating and get the power down quite early. And then this takes us into the mine shaft. So coming up to this corner is called the mine shaft. Fast, get the car to the left hand side of the track, and you're looking at braking between the 150 and getting the car to rotate round into the what's called the crocodiles. And this is called the cheetah. Just ignoring the little curb because that will eat you alive. And this corner's called Ingwe, and it's a left-hander. And then we're back onto the straight, flat out and foot down again. And this lap with John is looking like probably a 143.7, 143.1. So good lap by John that. But as I said, it's 143. Most of the cars I think are going to be in that area. You can already see we've got Lars and Chris and Neil Bywater all in the 142s. So that's the lap time I was half expecting to see. So let's jump on board with Tony Whitten. His best is a 143 flat and he's currently 3/10 up. So he's looking to break into the 142s if he can get a good run down here. I'm not too sure how the Ferrari runs on here because there's not so many curbs. But I just don't know whether it's got a good run out of the corners. Because the Aston seemed to do really well yesterday. He's 4/10 up here, so he's going for a 142.6. So he's now 2. He's leaking time now. He's 2/10 up. This corner is really important to him. This puts him into the 142s if he can keep it together. Yeah, he's lost a 10th there. Is he going to lose any more as he accelerates to the line? And that's put him into the 142.8s and put him third on the grid. So I'm going to jump back to Mark Christopher. So Mark Christopher's just started his lap. You can see one of the Lambos getting out of the way there. His best is a 143.2 and he's 2/10 up as it stands. Hi Reese, welcome to the stream. Yeah, he's losing time, Mark Christopher. I think he qualified yesterday in 143s as well, but he did say he was running with 40 odd litres of fuel, something to do with the balance of the car. So I presume he was qualifying how he was going to race. So he's 1/10 up at the moment. Important to keep the power there. You hear some drivers letting off the gas to come up that hill. You've really got to keep it planted. You let off, you're losing time. You can gain 2-3 just coming up that hill alone if you take the angles correct on it. He's been consistent. I was going to say he's still 1/10 up, but he's just lost that 1/10 as he comes into this bend, and he's now into the red. So Mark Christopher, as it stands, isn't going to gain from where he is. So at this point, I just want to shout out to PWS. It is the team Mark's driving for. Our sponsors, our proud sponsors of ACC TV. They've got some fantastic equipment, preciouswashers.co.uk, and they do clean equipment. So if you're in the market for any commercial or home clean equipment, jet washers or anything like that, look these guys up. If you're part of eSeniors, I'm sure Darren will give you a discount. So that's preciouswashers.co.uk. Thanks for the sponsorship, guys. Going to jump forward to Lars. Lars is on an absolute flyer. Lars is looking like he's going for the 141s here, which I said is achievable, high 141s. So let's see how he manages to do this in the McLaren. He's 2/10 up. He's going between 2 and 3/10 up here at the moment. So he's a 142.3 at the moment. Let's see how he goes. He needs to get this braking point spot on. Yeah, he's lost a 10th going into the corner, but he could get it on the way out, and he's got it back on the way out. No, he's just lifted off ever so slightly there because he started gaining then lost it again. I still think he's in the high 0.2 of tenths at the moment. But I don't think as it stands he's going to break into the 141s, but he's going to be in the very low 142s, which is a blazing time when you can compare the times around him. But that's really quick through there, 2/10 still. Can he get a bit of drive coming out of this corner? He's got 3/10, he's got the drive. Can he get... Oh, he's lost the drive again. He's lost a lot of time now. He's lost 2/10 coming out that bend alone, and that's put him into the 142.2s. So it's still the quickest lap by over half a second. He just seemed to struggle getting the traction down. Let's jump on board with David Gerrard. David Gerrard's looking to get into the 142s. This is another one of the PWS guys. If you haven't already, there's 11 people watching. I want to see 11 likes. And if you haven't subscribed and shared, please do so. Hi Peter, welcome to the stream, my friend. Two of the guys from the endurance race, well done guys. Reese and Peter, absolutely outstanding. Big shout out to everyone who raced in the endurance. Craig, obviously Carlo, Peter and Reese. That was an outstanding effort, you know, for us eSeniors to be represented by you guys. Certainly proud of what you achieved, you know, as admin of eSeniors, so big pat on the back for that. Awesome. Hi Melvin. Melvin's entered the room, you can tell because he's just put a full stop there. After that, he's lost his keyboard. So David's still 3/10 up here. Sorry, he's 4/10 up now on his next lap. So he's going for a 1:42.4. He's really looking for second place here. We've still not got anyone in that magical 141s though. Got good power out of there. The lap still stands. So he's got a good run going on here. Hi Paul, welcome to the stream. That's the first time he's lost time coming up there. But he's got a really good drive out of this corner. He did exactly the same as Lars there. He gained it and lost it. In fact, he's losing it coming down there. Like he's deployed a wing. Can he get this corner nailed? He's got the power down really well. He's 4/10 up. He'd lost 2, so he's got 2 back. He's got that corner done. He's done it. Lost a 10th in that corner alone. Needs to get this corner nailed. And this will put him possibly second. It's going to be close. Whether no, he's going to be third now. He's lost a 10th. Yeah, he's going to be third. Now, Andy Goddard and Mark Christopher have come together on qualifying, which I find a bit bizarre. They've looks like they've been racing on track and had an incident. So, I don't quite know what all that was about. But it's just seeing that happen in qualifying just doesn't make sense at all. You know, drivers should be trying to keep apart from each other, or at least let anyone past. I'm going to jump on board with Krista. So Krista's 1:43.8 at the moment, and he's half a second up. And I believe Krista's recording this himself in 4K, so you might actually see a 4K published version of this from his view, which would be fantastic to see. And obviously, if you watch Krista's video, click like for him. Krista does actually do his own. I don't know if he streams his own channel, but he's certainly got his own YouTube channel. So you know, and some of his videos are quite good actually in relation to the way he portrays it. If he makes a mistake, he's quite open about making a mistake. So it's I like to see that in someone, you know, always admitting, oh, I did that wrong. It's good. You know, you recognise what you're doing wrong. It's when you don't acknowledge it, you start having to battle with everything else. So Krista then did actually gain a little bit there. So he's moved up the table. He's currently 11th place. Chris Bourne is going slightly quicker in the Lexus. His best is a 1:42.7, and he's currently 1/10 up. So let's see how he manages to get the Lexus around here. Now, obviously, a lot of drivers are eager to use the BMW, but they can't in the Constructors because you're not allowed to change your vehicle. So for those who are changing to the GT3 BMW for the weekend races, you know, they're going to have to stick with this alternative car, and Chris has lost his time. Hi Maverick. Yeah, Team GB are looking strong, Terry, I think it's fair to say, not only from a scoring perspective, you know, with them leading with 673 points, or you know, the drivers they've got are awesome drivers. Hi Terry. 2 Terrys, Terry T, Terry H. Now Chris has pulled back 2/10 here. So he's going for a 1:42.5. Now this could put him in second or third because I can't. Oh, he's lost it. Oh no, no, he's lost it. He got a 1:42.6. So we've got 2 drivers, David Gerrard and Chris Bourne, on identical qualifying times. A 1:42.645, and then 100th in front of them we've got John Saunders. And if you look behind, you're talking thousandths of a second between Tony Whitten. This is going to be very, very close. Very close indeed. So we've got 5 minutes left to qualify in. It looks like most drivers have managed to push the car to the limits now. I'm just trying to see who... I'm going to jump on board with Christopher again in the PWS Aston Martin, because he was going quick. He's struggling to break into the 142s here. This time, the 143.0 is the fastest I've seen him doing Kyhalami. So I think that's his quickest time, but he just seems to be struggling to get the car into the 142s. Hi, Nikos. So I'm going to switch to Chris Bourne, because Chris Bourne's going quicker again. So no doubt his food's settling in his stomach now and he can get himself rattled and get going. So he only needs a thousandth of a second and he jumps up. He's currently 1/10 up. So that tells me he's going to take second place as it stands. Now he's 2/10 up. He's fluctuating here. So I think if Chris can get this nailed, he's going into second place. Good of the Ferrari to move out of the way there as well. Didn't spoil Chris's race. And he really needs to get this corner nailed. He's still a 10th up. He's lost it. I think he's up, but I'm not sure how much he's up. I can't see. So he got third. So he's now gone. He's now gone basically 3,000ths of a second quicker than he had. So you're talking fractions there. So another good lap by Chris. John Saunders. I'm going to keep an eye on John Saunders in front because John Saunders is going quick. And Chris Bourne started the next lap really quick as well. So these are both for the same team. So I should imagine there's no racing on track. There's no need to. You know, if the first and the second or second and third, unless they're going to catch Lars, they'll probably just stick in that position because there's no benefit in passing each other. Unless, for example, John thinks Chris is quicker and Chris can catch Lars, then that might happen. But I think they're pretty much equally measured here in relation to the racing and the skills between them both. You can see that from the times. A 142.545 and a 142.642. They're both 1/10 up at the moment. So let's see where this comes off. Now Chris has lost all his time. Saunders has still got a bit of gain time, but it's this last section they seem to struggle getting the power down with. Let's see how he does it. So now John Saunders has lost all his time coming into the final bend, and this always seems to just take it off you. So yeah, he's now in the negatives. So let's just go back on Chris Bourne. Chris Bourne is showing as 1/10 up. This is enough to move him into second, but he's got this corner to navigate, and this is where they seem to be losing time. Now he's 2/10 up. He's 3/10 up. He's got great drive. This is going to put him into second place quite clearly, and there it is. A 142.355. Great lap by Chris Bourne there. Really, really good lap. We'll jump on. Speaking of Goddard, we'll jump on with Goddard. Nikos. So Andy's currently qualifying with a 143.8 in 13th position. So we've got, as it stands, 7 drivers in the 142s. So that's 7 drivers within a second of each other. And if you include Mark Christopher and Krista, that's 10 drivers within a second of the starter. So that's pretty packed out, that field, to be fair, from the start. This is going to be interesting and exciting. So Andy Goddard's lost a lot of time there, so I'm going to change focus on to Neil Bywater, who's currently 2/10 up, so he's going for a 142.7. He's lost a bit of time. This is only going to push him forward in front of Jonathan Wood if he'd got that anyway. And I've just noticed Jonathan Wood's coming out the pits. I think he's not going to have enough time to do another lap. So Jonathan's obviously just doing a bit of car testing there, because you need a good 140 to get out the pits and do a lap here. So he isn't going to do it. And you can see a Bentley off into the grass there as well, into the sand, sorry. So Neil Bywater, who's teaming up with Andy Goddard for this race. In the Rhythm Tech Aston Martin. Yeah, I think this is coming to a conclusion. Less than a minute to go. I will say, I'm just going to jump to the back. Kenneth in the Bentley's 6/10 up. This is going to put him 143.6, and it's going to move him up 3 or 4 places. Yeah, there you go. In fact, it's put him into 10th place. He did a low 143.2. He must have got really good drive coming out that last corner. So Kenneth's shown it can be done. But again, it's a 143.2, and he's actually just in front of his teammate. Ooh, he's left his car in a very dangerous position there. Right on the curb, sticking the back end out. So I'm just going to see who we can jump with, because a couple of drivers go in extremely quick. So John Saunders, 142.5, and he's 3/10 up. If he gets these 3/10, he's going into pole. And as Lars is now in the pits, This could really upset the apple cart. So this would be... It would just basically be Team GB ruling, because then there'd be a Lars sandwich. We'd have Chris behind him and John Saunders in front of him. Now the question here is that car at the back going to get in the way, or is it going to give him a tow? Interesting. Could get a really good tow. He's still 3/10 up. He's not going to get a tow in this little bit. He needs a good gun around the corner. Yeah, he's still within track limits. He's lost a 10th there. He really needs to get good drive and a lot of power down. He's still 2/10 up, so he's not going to get pole, but he's going to jump his teammate with a 1:42.342. So Team GB, fantastic qualifying, but Team Burning Moose, Lars Eklund with a pole time of a 1:42.2. That was great qualification, that. We've still got Neil out on track. Neil's looking to go faster, and in fact he's 1/10. If he can keep this going, he may jump up 2 places on the grid. Now he's lost all his time. He could have jumped into 4th place then, but you can see he's gone wide and quite ragged. Back shortly. Okay, bit of a grid walk. In pole position, we have Lars Eklund in the Team Burning Moose McLaren, followed closely by John Saunders in the Team GB Lexus. Further down the grid then we've got Chris Bourne, who's in the other Lexus Team GB. Good representation there, 2nd and 3rd on the grid. And then we've got the first of the Team Babalas, Tony Whitten in the orange Ferrari. We then have the first of the PWS Esports at Aston's of David Gerrard, and then Neil Bywater in the Team Rhythm Tech Aston Martin. We have the first of the Lamborghinis of Jonathan Wood, and then the second PWS car of Mark Christopher. We then have the Team USA of Christopher Hort in the 823 Aston Martin, and the first of the Denmark liveried Bentleys of Kenneth Lingham, followed by Kai Schaefer. Next on the grid, we have the Bentley Fanatec of Craig Holmes, and then the other Team Babalas of Mark Stevens. We then have Jaime Goddard filling in for Jeremy in the Team Rhythm Tech Aston Martin, and the other Lamborghini of Stefan Buckley for Team West Coast. Team Burning Moose, we have Andreas Pettersson in the other McLaren, and then the 2 Team SRCC Ferraris of Philippe Sauvage, followed by Eric Langlois. And then we have Frank Tennant in the other Fanatec Bentley, and the Aston of Jeremy will go to the pits as racing commences, because he's just doing the administration on the server as it seems. So what we'll do is we'll go to the helicam for the start, and let's see how this unfolds. So we've got 12 seconds to go. Then it'll be rolling, and then as we come on to the end of the little start straight bit, it'll go to green and the race will be on. So it'll be interesting to see whether we get any dives down the inside. We're just coming up to the final corner now before the straight. Are we going to have anyone going up the inside, or is everyone going to take it really easy. Hopefully everyone's going to take it really easy, but who knows. The lights will go green very, very soon. You can see everyone's getting settled. You've got the Lexus there trying to steal a yard. And that'll be it. But should be, yeah, lights out and away we go. We've gone green. So you can see there the Lexus gained just on the start positions there. So this is going to be interesting to see whether he manages to pull it off as part of the inside. But oh, there's going to be contact there. Nothing destructive, but definitely contact. Both getting eager to come round the corner. And they're still eager. Was that contact? A car going off? No. We've got another Lexus going in up to the back of the McLaren there. All looks clean at the back, but wow, is it crowded. 3 abreast at some point there. What a start. Got the Bentley and the Ferrari looking very close coming into this corner. But again, there has been another contact between Craig Holmes and Kenneth Lingham. The 2 Bentleys have come together, but it is only a tap. So again, it's a non-destructive contact. Everyone is looking really clean. There's a bit of action going on at the back with the other Ferrari. I know that's very close contact there. Looks like the back end of the Bentley got touched, but I don't think it did. The Ferrari just managed to hold it, and now Ferrari's under pressure from the Lamborghini of Stefan Buckley. So that's Tennant now. Looks like he's getting himself going again. I'm just going to jump to the front where David Gerrard is putting pressure on Jonathan Wood. So David Gerrard is getting pressured. Sorry, he's putting pressure on Jonathan Wood in the Lamborghini. This first lap, the track takes a good lap for your tyres to come up, and then it's a case of just keeping them in the heating. Now you can see there behind, there's a bit of a battle going on with Krista, Neil, and in front of them we've got Tony Whitten. So there's a battle going on between these 3 guys. So we've got 2 Astons racing close here now. So it'll be interesting to see who gets a good run and whether Neil gets a slipstream from Krista in front, and whether Krista's getting one from Stevens in front, from Tony Whitten in front of him in the Team Babalas. No, so far so good. No one's managed to gain. There's still no contact as such. So it's looking like it's going to be a clean race, but there has been a change at the front, and Lars has managed to catch Chris Bourne and pass him. Kai has also managed to pass Andy Goddard, so that's the Bentleys back to where they need to be. And you can see there Kenneth's gone very, very wide. Oh, and there's been a contact at the back there between Stevens and I think it was a Lamborghini. I think Stevens got out of shape and there was contact with the Lamborghini as a result of it. But still going well. Mark Christopher's managed to pass Tony Whitten. Oh, bit of contact. He's tried to pass him, but Whitten's had the inside line. And that now means Stevens loses a place to Craig Holmes. So Christopher's going to look at trying to get Craig Holmes here, but we know Craig's fast. He's done the endurance race at the weekend. So the guy's not to be messed with. And once he gets that Bentley going, he's a hard man to pass. But a good dive up the inside there from Mark Christopher. Wow, he really outbraked the big bulging Bentley there to get going. And Christopher's on a mission here. He's now going to trace down Tony Whitten. So back to the... In fact, I'm going to stick with this one because I'll just stick with this one a second. There's also Neil Bywater is putting pressure on Krista. We can see here when he come off the start-finish straight, onto the start-finish straight, he was close. But he's not giving up. He wants to stay off the grass though. Because if he gets the back end on the grass and spins the wheels, he'll be rotating into that wall. That will be race over. So this is also allowing Tony Whitten in the Ferrari to gain again. So Chris Bourne's putting pressure on Lars. As we know, Lars has passed Chris. Basically just gaining his position back really. Back to the stream. Hi Juan. Hi Dimitri. Nikos. They're not Max Blue, mate. They're better than that. And my keyboard's a very expensive piece of equipment. I think it's the most expensive switches you can get. Don't ask me to name the colours. I just know that they're expensive. But yeah, you could hear me typing. I was typing a message to somebody who is watching. Oh, see, Krista went very wide there. Luckily, he went wide into a place where he could put the anchors on into the corner. Now, is that going to compromise his exit? No, it's not, but it still means Neil Bywater's put pressure on. Now, I'm noticing at the back, we've got a couple of battles at the back. Andreas is being pressured by Stevens, and Stefan has managed to pass Tennant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the gap on, and I'm also going to put the position delta so you can see how people are doing in relation to where they started and where they are now. So Neil Bywater is now looking really racy. He's so trying his hardest to get past Krista here. Krista's gone very defensive and Neil's gone wide. Neil's going to lose a place here. He's going to lose 2. Christopher's got him up the inside. He's not going to give that in. Great turn of the way Christopher managed to drift that car into the corner. So Neil, who was on the offensive, then had to go defensive and went very wide. It's now put him at the cost of Craig Holmes in the Bentley behind him. So bit of a mistake there, but that was led as a result of the defensive driving from Krista. And what it means is Krista's now 2 seconds up the field. So it's really had a massive impact on Neil's position, that. And the fact is he's got a difficult Mark Christopher to pass in front of him. And then he's got another Ferrari before he even gets to where he was before. Okay, so the front's calmed down a little bit. Chris is now not necessarily too close to Lars. I mean, it's coming and going. Oh, there's a dive up the inside. Craig's gone for it, but Neil's still got it. Quite a difficult corner to consider going into as a dive, that, because you can easily be pushed wide. Just managed to keep it there. So I don't know whether Neil just eased off a little bit and Craig saw the opportunity, but I think it could have backfired that on Neil then, because Craig could have easily have gone down the inside and kept it planted. But I think Craig had to ease off to get the car to turn in, actually. So I think he was very lucky there. Let's just jump on board with Neil and see how it looks from Neil's perspective, what he can see. So you can see the car in front of him, the car behind him. Get to see how he's driving, where he's braking. So he's looking. Oh, is that Christopher going sideways, or has he just got a really good drive? Lars Eklund's off. He's gone off track. So Neil did make the pass. We saw Mark Christopher go deep and look like he'd lost the back end, and he's now fighting and defending Craig Holmes. You can see them there with the little wiggle. He didn't want Craig to go up the inside. So I think we're going to see Craig actually have a go at trying to pass Christopher. Now we know Craig is the art of going up the inside. Cleanly, I may add. You can see there, this looks great when you've got the cars of the same liveries running together. I just think it looks absolutely fantastic. You saw the 2 Bentleys there with the Danish theme livery on them. I just think it looks fantastic when you watch it on track. These liveries have had a fantastic job to them, and I know Nikos has been responsible for the majority of them, so great job there, Nikos. Now Kenneth got a little bit slippy there. Now luckily he's got his racing partner behind him, so there's no gain to be made. He just needs to be careful of that back end. He seemed to put the power down a little bit too soon, and the back end just wiggled a little bit. So Mark Christopher's now putting pressure back on Neil Bywater. So I can see we're going to see the same sort of incident that we saw before. You know, where we're going to see Christopher trying to go up the inside, or Neil's going to make a mistake perhaps, and it's allowed Mark Christopher go for it. So let's just see where this takes us. And you can see there Neil's also putting pressure on Tony Whitten. So we've just gone a bit deep there, Neil. He just needs to be careful on coming out of his corner exits. If he gets in the wrong place, he's going to lose traction, and he will lose a place again. John Saunders going fastest with the 143 flat. Chris Bourne also with a 143 back flat, and Chris Bourne's now past Lars as a result of Lars going slower before and going off track. Yeah, Neil's looking very fast. It looks like Neil's going to make the move on the Ferrari. Is he going to do it? The Ferrari's squeezing him, but the Ferrari's going to have to go wide, and that's going to give Neil, but the Ferrari's still got the inside. No, Neil's got it now because he's got the pace. Now the Ferrari's looking like it's going to lose out to Christopher. Oh! That was, I think that's fair to say, that was a fault of the Aston coming up the inside, trying to take a corner they had no intention of being able to make. So quite unfortunate that, but he hasn't stopped for the driver. So that could be quite a severe penalty coming the PWS team. Again, PWS are sponsors of ACTV. And Kenneth's done exactly what he's done on the previous lap, but this time it's backfired for Kenneth. So I mentioned putting too much power down. He's going to spin the back end round, and that's exactly what he's done. So not only has he hit the wall, it's put him more or less firm in last place. So first time round, the back end wiggled. The second time round, he just obviously kept the power planted. So unfortunately, he's now last in the race from what was quite a good, safe position. So very unfortunate, but I think we could see that one coming from the previous lap. So Andreas is giving Frank Tennant a difficult time here. I'll be interested to see who's going to get the drive. They're both looking equally matched on performance, but Andreas just hitting the curbs ever so slightly. So obviously the fast right-hander now. Oh, not the fast right-hander, sorry. Coming into that little bit at the end of that, and they're very close. Is Andreas going to dump? No, Andreas has backed out, which is probably the sensible thing. We can see Mark Christopher behind now, trying to recover some positions as a result of that. So that's unfortunate, but we are where we are in relation to that. In fact, that's not... I'm a bit confused here because I'm looking at Andreas and behind was a PWS car. Or did I imagine it? I must have imagined it. Oh, no, it was probably one of the Ferraris I've misunderstood and mistaken, because Christopher's currently in 10th place, so he's now having to regain, and I can see a penalty requirement's going to be incoming from, I think it was either I think it was Tony Whitten. All right, thanks for that, Nikos. So Nikos is just saying that most of the drivers did their own liveries, so consequently, not everybody needs Nikos. I will say Nikos's talent is fantastic, and I've always said this to him. It's definitely a talent to see the jobs he does, and I think it inspires other people to give it a go. Actually, I know when Nikos first did his, I did my own, and I thought actually it's quite good fun this, and you can learn so much by playing with the liveries. And obviously we've got to do some additional work now with the liveries because of the changes Kunos have made. So I'm thinking of scrapping the current skin pack, and Neil's gone wide again. Oh no, that's Andy Goddard actually. I thought that was Neil again going wide. So Neil's putting a pressure on Krista, so we've got a repeat here of these two again. So Neil's put himself back where he was, and we've also got Mark Christopher putting pressure on Kai. So I could see a dive coming in a minute. Now it all depends on whether Kai goes defensive. So Kai's gone quite defensive there because he's gone central, which means he can open himself up on the left-hand side of the track or the right. So now he's committed, and you can see Mark Christopher was showing his nose up the inside to try and put Kai off. But this next few corners is going to be really important for Kai to keep himself going and keep himself in front of the PWS Aston Martin. So PWS, preciouswashers.co.uk, do clean equipment, sponsoring our ACC TV, allowing us to carry on. Oh, contact! Not too sure where the contact come from there. They just both seem to drift into each other. Now, as it happens, Mark Christopher's made a gain. Oh, he's looked like he started to drift the car then and slide out a little bit. So contact was definitely recorded between the two of them. So a bit of door banging there, paint swapping, whatever you want to call it, rubbing's racing, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Nikos. It can take time, but it's great learning how to do it, and no doubt I'll have to review it again. And I'm contemplating we all put a PWS badge on our roofs or something as a form of thanks to PWS. You know, just a little circle on the roof, because I think that shows that we're all being represented and allowing PWS are allowing us to do this. That's something I'll speak with Jeremy about and see if the group are happy doing that. Obviously, you've all got fantastic liveries, and I don't want to take that away from it by putting a bit of, you know, what I'd say is sponsorship branding. I personally think it's fine, you know, as long as it doesn't overwhelm your car. I think it's nice to have that little contribution PWS logo on the roof, on the bonnet, or on the wings at the back. So it's something to discuss. Right, Andreas is putting pressure on Frank again, and you can see that it wasn't. Obviously, I can see it's the Ferrari quite clearly now. I must have just caught a glimpse of it before. So the good thing is at the moment, although we've had incidents, we've not had incidents that have cost a car, as in car on car. So everyone's behaving. We've had a couple of door bangs, I think the only real incident we've had is Christopher diving up the inside. And again, without looking at a replay and studying the mechanics of the braking, the acceleration, it's hard to say whether, you know, he forced that a little bit. He did seem to come from a long way back, and it almost looked like he used the car to slow him, because I'm not too sure he'd have made the corner at the angle he was travelling at. But it all down to whether Tony logs it as an incident, whether it gets investigated or not. This is why it's extremely important to get all incidents logged that you feel need logging. Otherwise, you're potentially letting a driver get away with causing panic and bedlam, and no one complain about it. And then we all complain in the chat about this penalty here, or, you know, this driver did this, and you say, well, did you report it? No. Well, you're not going to report it. There's no point talking about it, because otherwise, why are you arguing a case for when you've not put a penalty in? So, you know, you might be the best friend with someone, or someone's apologised, but at the end of the day, you've got to consider, was it the right action to do? And if they get a penalty, are they going to learn from it? Ultimately, if you let him off, they can do it again next week. There's no penalty. If the penalty's logged and they do it again the next week, they get a further penalty. And if they do it again the third week, they get banned for a week. So it's in your interest to make sure driver etiquette is adhered to. Otherwise, we're going to end up with what we had yesterday, which was a free-for-all of people basically just punting other cars off the track, because yesterday it meant nothing. That's how it come across. People thought, well, it doesn't really matter, there's no points involved. But actually, you've got a sense of pride with your SA, your RC and stuff, and people punting you off and causing incidents doesn't really allow you to keep your SA up. And as we know, getting onto the servers with the relevant SA is quite key. And if you've been punted off, it's a bit unfair, really. Hi, Willie. Yeah, I was thinking of that, Nikos. I actually thought the O of eSeniors would be the PWS logo. I thought that's one way to do it, because most of us have got that on our car. So we could do the eSeniors with the PWS logo as the O. I think that ticks two boxes, eSeniors and PWS. So there's something for you to think about. Right, let's jump. Oh, Frank Tennant. What's happened with Frank? Let's quickly go to a replay. And I've missed the replay. He just, on the straight, he just seemed to lose it. But he has caused bedlam. I wonder if I can go back 30 seconds on that incident. Yeah, I've gone back a little bit further. No, it's not letting me go back, actually. No, it's not letting me do it. Typical. This software's good, but when you want to do something like that, it just goes, no, you're not doing that. So that's put Frank at the back now. Kenneth's now gaining back on the pair of Ferraris. So Kenneth, who spun out before and lost all them positions, is going again. Okay, I think we're going to see Kenneth take these two in a second. This is the only battle on track. It's really stretched out a little bit now. David Gerrard's keeping close tabs on Jonathan Wood, who's currently in fourth. But other than that, there's one or two little battles, but nothing. I'm keeping an eye on it. If anything does significantly change, I'll quickly jump to it. Tony Whitten's now putting pressure on Stefan Buckley. He's 4th, 10th behind, but other than that, he's getting closer. Let's see what's happening here. So you can see there, he's getting right behind him now. So we're 31 minutes left to race. So the tyres are 20 minutes old. Shouldn't really be suffering at this moment in time. You can see he's looking very aggressive there, Tony. He really wants to pass Stefan. So it's all about getting his corners out. Stefan's taking as much track as possible to keep the speed in the car. As you can see there, Kenneth's not yet managed to pass the Ferraris, but he's looking racy. And we can just see a fastest lap there, Chris Bourne at 1:42.9. So I'm just keeping my eye between these two and Kenneth, because Kenneth is flying as well. But he looks like he's struggling to make room from the Ferraris. They just seem to be nose to tail. The Ferraris keeping him at bay a little bit. Yeah, they're both looking... The Ferrari and the Lambo is just looking really matched. The Ferrari doesn't seem to make any inroads on the Lambo at all. In fact, the Lambo looks really quick on the straight, to be fair. So it must be quite... oh, I thought he was going for the dive then, but not quite. No, I understand that, Melvin. You know, your point's valid. What if you only race with a stock livery? Yeah, you know, it's something we've got to think about. Oh, the Ferrari got very, very sideways there. Very sideways indeed. That was great control by Tony. He nearly visited our friend Barry there. You know, he just wanted to go and say hello to Barry, but he just managed to just leave him a letter and say, I'm not visiting today. So, well done there, Tony. His car's looking a little bit bouncier, actually. You can see just how much movement there is in the back of that car compared to the other cars. So I think he's running it quite, first of all, low, but quite a firm suspension. You can see it's just not liking the curbs. As soon as he gets on a curb, it seems to really upset his car. Right, let's... so Frank's now... So Kenneth has made a mistake because he's now way behind the Ferraris. So the two Ferraris are doing really well. And John Saunders has just done a 1:42.8 as the fastest lap there. So Saunders' Team GB are absolutely flying. And just to give you a comparison, they were over a second quicker than Lars in third place. So Lars is currently 5 seconds behind. So both the Lexuses are flying as it stands. So on that note, I'll do a quick rundown of the current grid. So we've got John Saunders leading for Team GB in first place. 4 seconds behind Chris Bourne in the second Lexus. So they're at the moment claiming a 97-point haul. That's going to be quite significant, I feel, and where they are in the championship. And the chances are that means they could actually be winners. I'd need to do the maths, but there's a possibility they could be the winners, depending on where Andreas finishes, I think, because Lars is still going to get a good haul. But obviously they're doubling Lars' point tally there, really. Lars is behind by 5 seconds, as I said, but Lars really isn't being challenged by anybody. So Lars is in third place. He's racing himself. Jonathan Wood's 4 seconds behind that in the first of the Lamborghinis. And he's being hunted down now, I think. Hunted is the right word, by David Gerrard. So with David Gerrard in the PWS Aston, he is now 1.5 seconds behind. I'd say he's gaining, but the time's pretty static. So I think the gain is probably limited a little bit, but I'll keep an eye on that. Neil Bywater, who's had an eventful start, is 4.1 seconds. So he's now settled down his race a little bit. And Chris Bourne's gone even faster with a 1:42.7. So he's trading fastest lap times with his teammate there. So they're obviously enjoying something. I know they're all on the voice chat themselves together. So they're probably saying, I'm going to go faster than you and so on. Behind Neil Bywater, we've got Krista Tihort in 3.8 seconds. So Krista has made great progress in this race, actually. He's made 2 places up and he's in a really good, strong position. Just needs to see if he can keep ahead of Craig Holmes, who's 1 second behind him. So Craig's been quick in areas, but seems to be sluggish in other areas. Craig is gaining on Krista, but it all depends on which part of the track. Philip Savage, quickly go to that, is off track. Oh, that Ferrari is looking very, very, very poorly. Let's have a quick replay of that. That looked very, very painful. It's because the front of that nose looks like whatever he's hit it very, very hard. So there's no damage on it there. Come round the corner. Oh, straight into... Oh, that's a big impact. That's not going to buff out. And yeah, he's gone to the pits as Philip. So that was a big impact there. And as you can see there, he's gone to the pits for repairs. So Mark Christopher is 3 seconds behind, and there's been a change. Craig has passed Krista. So just as I said, he wasn't gaining. He's had a really good drive, and he's managed to pass him. And I think we're going to see Craig disappear now and probably hunt down Neil Bywater. But we'll see. We'll see. Krista's not going to give this place up. So Mark Christopher's 2.5 seconds behind. He's gaining on the pair of them. So he's getting his act together now after having that little bit of contact earlier on. And then behind him, we've got Kay Schaefer, 1.5 seconds behind him. Andy Goddard is 3.3 seconds behind in the second Rhythm Tech car. And then we've got Stefan Buckley, who's 5.1 seconds behind, being pressured by Tony Whitten, but he is keeping him at bay, as we've seen. Tony going very deep into that corner then, and then Tony Whitten, who's less than a second behind, but not making much progress. The Lambo seems to have the Ferrari on the straights. Stevens has managed to pass Andreas. So Pettersson, who was talking about for the points hauls, gone wide and off track. And that means he's lost a place to both, I think, Tony and Mark Stevens, actually. No, Mark Stevens. Eric Langlois is doing very well in the Ferrari, but he's being hunted down by Kenneth now, although Kenneth has been struggling. And we've had a stop and go for number 22, which is Philippe Sauvage, for speeding in the pit lane. So he's going to come out and have to go back in again. And that's a disaster. That's last place nailed on for him there. So Kenneth Lingham is putting pressure, as we can see. And then we've got Frank Tennant, who's coming up the rear now to give them both pressure. Although he's not as quick as I think he was early on in the race. So I don't know if he's got tyre problems there. He doesn't seem to be going. His lap times are in the 146, 147s. So he's definitely a couple of seconds down on performance. So whether that's a trait of the Bentley or not, I don't know. I mean, other drivers are doing well in the Bentley, but he just seems to be struggling with it. So back to where the action is. Kenneth is putting pressure, as I said, on the Ferrari of Eric. He's going to see if he can make a pass. He's got 24 minutes to go. This allows potentially then Kenneth to start putting pressure. And we've lost Philippe Sauvage. Philippe Sauvage has decided to call it a night. He's exited the server, and that basically means that, you know, he's gonna finish in dead last place, which he was anyway, and that's probably what he's thought about. What's the point in carrying on? So quickly back to the chat. There's been lots of chat going on. Maverick, we lowered the SA on the Monday night race, so you probably could have raced on Monday, just so you're aware. Oh, you got 39. That's quite low. That. Yeah, 9 seconds. Wow. So Terry's saying the Bentley killed the tyres last night. So the times that, from what you're saying, Terry, the times what Frank's having. I mean, I'm just looking at the times of Kenneth here. Kenneth's in the 146s, and Stevens has gone off. Stevens has well and truly buried that. So let's do a quick replay and see what's happened to Mark Stevens there. I'm just letting the replay up, and I'm struggling getting my replay going. There you go. Oh, it's contact actually between two cars. So he's coming down. Oh, that's a really odd place to lose the back end. So he's come down, and then another car comes down and hits. So he gets going. He's waiting there, no problem. Safe. Whoa! Oh dear, that was quite... Yeah, I think we're going to see a car pit here. Yeah, that's both, believe it or not. Both the Ferraris are struggling because Tony Whitten's been off as well. So Team Babalas have gone from running good to absolute nightmare. So Stevens is in the pit. Frank Tennant's having problems. He's just gone wide again. And what I was looking at was the lap times of the other Bentley. So Kenneth, who's a quick driver, his best is a 1:43. And there you can see Frank is now pitting as well. So Frank must have got damage when he hit that car. So Kai's last lap was a 1:44.8. So the Bentleys are struggling. Craig Holmes is doing a 1:44.1. So they are really, really struggling. You can see how easy Chris has just gone past him. Now, I can't believe that's down to tyres. It's interesting to see that all the Bentleys all of a sudden just seem to have the cliff appear in front of them, and they're all just running off. So Terry could be spot on there. But Craig did manage to get it going. But I wonder if it's one of these, you burn your tyres, they come back to you. You burn your tyres, they come back to you. Not too sure. So we've now got I'm trying to work out who that's behind him. That's David Gerrard, isn't it? No, Mark Christopher. Oh yeah, Mark Christopher's catching the pair of them. Yeah, you see that. Sorry about that. You can see Christopher's looking really quick on Krista now. I think we're going to see Christopher take Krista, and Stevens has jumped out the server. So Mark Stevens has called it a day. So I think there's not too sure what caused that, but I think the Tennant incident where Tennant went wide. I mean, if Tennant's already gone off the track out of control, that's a difficult one. Obviously from Mark's perspective, because he'd already gone off track. Hi Luke. You need to change your watch then if you're coming up an hour later. You need to put it forward an hour. I think this is the only battle we've got on track at the moment. Chris Bourne and John Saunders are now 10 seconds in front of Lars. David Gerrard is not catching Jonathan Wood, but Neil Bywater is slowly but surely catching David Gerrard. So I think we might see another battle in a second. I'll keep an eye on it. Stefan Buckley, meanwhile, just behind. Now, was that Christopher going deep and wide? It was. So Christopher's had a bit of a mistake there. So Buckley is putting pressure on Andy Goddard here now. I'm not too sure what the Lambo's like on tyres. I'm sure we'll find out after this. Krista's still putting pressure on Craig. So I don't know whether there's a lap in. Craig's okay. Then he loses his tyres for a lap and then he puts it back on because Krista seems to be all over him for one lap and then just loses it. And it looks like Mark Christopher's struggling behind as well. That's the second corner he's gone really deep into. Stefan's still putting pressure on Andy Goddard. In fact, there's been an incident there between the pair of them. So let's just go to that. And let's see what happened. So there was an incident between the pair of them. I'm not too sure what happened here. I didn't see Stefan get past. So Stefan just outbroke himself. Or did Andy Goddard brake early? So far so good here. Oh, he's just got... Oh, dear. That's big impact. Really big impact. So Andy Goddard got massive understeer into the corner, then then basically pushed himself across the track. Now, from that perspective, the Lambo will have received damage. Now, I'm just trying to work out if Andy Goddard's got damaged. He must have, because they both hit the barrier. So I'm going to go back to Neil Bywater. I mentioned this before. Neil Bywater is gaining on David Gerrard. So is he going to make a good pass? And Stefan Buckley's now got problems. His car looks like he's struggling to keep it on track. He's gone wide again there, so I don't know if he's got driving issues. In fact, let's quickly go into the cockpit and see if he's got a steering issue. There you go. He's steering to the right. He's got a steering issue. His steering's broke. So that's put paid to his lap, unfortunately. So it wasn't innocent because the car coming back across. But yeah, you can see there that was becoming undrivable for him, so you could understand why he went off. And I think that's now going to put Stefan significantly down the grid. I'm just looking at the times. Yeah. With the damage, I think he's going to be last. So this is the only big battle. There's a couple of others starting to gain. I mean, Krista's lost time on Craig, but he's not giving up, I don't think. And you can see these two are gaining on Jonathan Wood in front. So I don't know whether the pressure from Neil here is now forcing Gerrard to put pressure on Wood. You can see Neil's looking really racy. I wonder if Neil's just saved his tyres a little bit. and it's just allowing him to put pressure for the last 15 minutes. So what I found in the Aston on the friendly race yesterday, the warm-up race, sorry, my tyres didn't warm up, but actually I was still quick and I was still pumping me 143s in the race. So I think if you've got your setup right in your tyres, you can make the race and do it competitive. I've since adjusted my tyres to get even more out of them as a result of the warm-up race yesterday. But isn't that the point of a warm-up? Get it all set up. So Neil's, they're both getting within 2 seconds now of Jonathan, but behind we've got Christopher putting pressure on Krista. So this battle's on again. So another one where Mark Christopher was looking like his tyres were going off a little bit, but he just seems to have got it under control again. So good time to mention PWS, Clean Equipment, PreciousWashers.co.uk are proud sponsors of ACC TV, allowing us to continue to give this service to you guys and everyone else over the world who chooses to watch eSeniors. If you haven't done already, click the like, and if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button and ring that bell. You'll get notifications of every race we stream. There's 5 races being streamed this week. Sorry, 6 races being streamed this week. The Constructors, which is this. We've got the GT4 tomorrow. We've got the Porsche Cup on Thursday. Group 3 on Friday. Group 2 on Saturday. And Group 1 on Sunday. And then that's going to take us into the penultimate schedule race of the season. So it's all getting a bit down to the nitty gritty now. It's all over by the shouting, as they say. Camber's not the only solution, Nikos. The camber can also cause other problems depending on how you set it. So it's not just about camber. You've got to play with a few different variables. So the toe can affect it, and so can the caster for the cars that have got the caster. So you know it's not just a case of let's just change one. It's about a balance thing and getting the balance right. Going back to Neil Bywater here, because he's putting pressure still on David Gerrard. So this is going to be a great. This will be a great run for Team Rhythm Tech. I'm sure if Jeremy's watching, big shout out to Jeremy. You're sat on your settee, going, "Come on, Neil! Come on, Neil!" That's what I'd like to think you're doing anyway. Yeah, Neil's looking really quick. He's got a good run down here now, Neil. It's not enough. And there's been a change. These two are battling. These two are battling. There's no contact between them, so it's all fair. Mark Christopher's got the inside line. It looks like he's made the pass. He has made the pass. He needs to get it done through here as well. Easy to lose time through this corner. Get it wrong, go deep. He's managed to do it perfectly. But you can see now Kai has caught the pair of them up, and Kai's sitting there waiting for this battle to become tasty, shall we say. It'll be interesting to see if Krista gets a good drive. That looks a great drive up by Krista. Now, is he going to take him on the straight? No, that gap's too big. He's not going to gain that. So Krista's managed to do a good job there of pulling away. So I think that battle may be over. Certainly good, interesting battle. And we've still got this one. So I know Darren, the owner of PWS, watches sometimes. You're getting plenty of coverage, Darren, with your guys racing, as competitive as they are. That's it, Terry, tramlining. Understand, Nikos. And there you can see he's made the move. Exactly the same place as where Krista got took. He's going deep there. Oh, that could have been a disaster. He's not. Doesn't want to give it up, David, does he? He's trying to take that angle. He's got that gear down. He's really, really pushing for it. We know Neil's a really calm driver, though. And you can see there how calm Neil was coming through. I know we can't see him sat on his rig at home, but you could just see, yeah, he might be thinking, this is pressure, but I have visions of Neil just sat there quite calmly, breathing gently, and just going, there goes another. Something like that. He'll probably turn around and say to me something completely different, like sweat streaming off me, my heart rate's through the roof. But that's what I'd like to think anyway. So Chris and John Saunders are within a second of each other, but they're dominating Lars. Lars is in third. Wells has settled for third, I think. Neil's now pulling away from David Gerrard, as we can see there. Mark Christopher's passed Krista, and Krista's now managed to pull away from Kai. So there's no more battles on track per se. You know, if we just look at these two guys up front. Team GB, is that what you want to call it? Because that's exactly what you've got. So we've got the two, and Frank Tennant's just gone off track towards the back. Look at that. Two Lexus in the same screen. There's been an incident. Contact between these two guys. Krista has not given up and led to contact between them. So I don't know whether Christopher made a mistake, but he was a good distance ahead of Krista at one point. So this is under braking. This battle keeps on giving. Tell you what, Krista's video from inside the car is going to be brilliant. Mark Christopher's got great drive coming out, but look at the inside line. Who's got the inside line? Krista's taking a different angle. Krista's going to get the drive out the corner here. But he's not going to go up the inside because Mark will shut the door on him. And you can see now, Kenneth, I think that, oh, Kai's behind them now. So Kai has rejoined. Kai was 4 seconds behind. So the racing's cost them 4 seconds. And we've now got Kai right up the rear of Krista as a result of that. Yes, Luke, it might end in tears because the pair of them were going at it. David Gerrard isn't giving up on Neil Bywater, though. These two are at it as well. So we've got 7 minutes to go. And I think there's a few places that could still swap because of getting a braking point wrong, your turning point wrong and just going onto the sand or the green, or, you know, or just going a little bit wide on the curb. Is it far from over? I don't think it is. And as Jonathan Wood always says, tiredness starts kicking in and you just don't know where you're going to be when you get down to the dying embers of the race. Yeah, so one thing you'll learn about Mark, I know because I've raced against him quite closely in the last few races, he knows where to put the car on the track. I'm funny enough, I was speaking to him about it last night. He can go a little bit too far with the defence, and he may choose to slam the door on you. And if you're not aware he's going to do it, you'll become a cropper. So I've learned quite a lot of how you guys race. Certainly likes of Mark, Rayner, Jeremy certainly, and Terry T's another one. When you race with them a long time, you get to learn how they are. You get to learn what you can get away with, and I mean fairly there in relation to racing. But one thing I've learned with Mark, and I spoke to him about it last night, is he defends very, very well, but he can over defend to the point where in some respects you've gone to go up the inside and next minute he'll shoot across your bonnet, and you've had to put your anchors on, otherwise there's contact. So if he does it, you're aware of it. So what you got to do is set yourself up for him to do that, so you can get yourself almost a slingshot past him. I will say Terry T is also a very good defensive driver. I'd say not as aggressive as Mark Christopher, I must say. But a bit of a shout out there to Terry T. Terry H, I've only been behind once, and we know how that finished. But I will say very, very fair driver as well there. So as I said, you get to know the drivers. You get to know whether you're likely to be punted off by them. You know, I could name many drivers I'd gladly race around the track close with. I wouldn't have a worry that they're going to take me out. There's other drivers where I'd probably think, yeah, I'd prefer to let them past. And we've probably got all that, haven't we? We know them sort of drivers. You know, and it's, you only have to look at how many times drivers in front of the stewards to work out what sort of driver they are. You know, I mean, with the exception, I think I've had one penalty against me, which was my mistake. I think my record's been pretty much clean this season, and I know, you know, Jeremy's has been clean. I think Terry's had very limited incidents. Mark Christopher's had very limited incidents, and it's funny that the guys at the front who are winning races or who are in the championship are the guys who are clean because they're not taking anybody else out. You may argue, well, you're at the front, you're not going to be in the battles, but actually, you're in the battles at the front, and in some respects, you're going even quicker. So I've waffled on because there's only this battle going on track, so I was trying to come up with something to say. I've got Wreckfest for the PS4. So Maverick, you're talking about Mini Clubman or Robbery Light League. In the someone mentioned AC. We had a race once with the transit vans around Brands Hatch, the small Brands Hatch. Oh my god, it was one of the funniest races we have ever had. It was absolutely hysterical. Did so much laughing in them transits. I mean, the top speed's about 75 mile an hour. And oh my god, talk about racing. You draft one of them things, it's like removing a brick from in front of you. You just shoot past it. But they are so fun to drive. So if you have got AC, download the transit vans and have a go in them. They are an absolute blast. It's not fast racing, it's just hilarious racing. Ain't touching Forza. Forza's a traitor to Assetto Corsa. And it's from the devil Microsoft, so wouldn't touch Forza. Always thought it looked good, but the physics in the game are awful in comparison to a proper racer. So you'll be on your own there, Nikos. So, Dimitri, you mentioned you're clean there. I won't ask whether that's from alcohol or drugs. I know what you're referring to. When I was racing against you yesterday on the straight, did you let me by? Because I seemed to pass you very, very quickly, and I thought, is he letting me by here and letting me go or not? Because I just seemed to get a great run on you, but pass you like you'd eased off. So I was just interested just to see whether you did let me go or I just got a better drive out the corner. Because I did pass you like you weren't moving. It was surprised me, actually. Steve Howell's clean, he's had a shower. No, you're right. Thing is, Willie, you're right. Everyone does make mistakes, and there's been an incident between these two guys again. Let's see if I can bring it to you. I don't think I've missed it. It's just flashed up on me. Oh! I'm not going to say payback, but that just looked like payback from when Mark Christopher did it before. Wow. I will say, Krista stopped this time. Mark Christopher didn't before. So, you know, I think that says a lot about Krista. Krista could have carried on there. When we saw the incident before, Mark Christopher did carry on. So, going to follow around now John Saunders and sit with John Saunders doing his lap because we're coming to the end of the race. Are we going to have a driver of the day? I don't know if I can do driver of the day for the. Oh no, you can't. We don't do driver of the day because it's a team. So if anyone wants to give us a team, I'll put an announcement out for the team. To me, there's only one team in it. Team GB. So unless anybody can give me an argument why it's not Team GB winning a 1-2 in the Constructors, give me your reasoning. Got a better drive, Dimitri. I thought so. Yeah, Team GB. So we don't have a driver of the day in the Constructors, so I think it's fair to say Team GB are the team of the day. These two guys are going to go over the line together, or that's what I'd expect. So just let's see them do that. There's been a change. Kai has passed Craig. Kai is doing a mad dash towards the end. He's got Krista, he's got Christopher, and now he's got Holmes. There you go. They both went over together. First and second, John Saunders, Chris Bourne. Lars Eklund is coming over in third place. Jonathan Wood, a great drive in the Lamborghini, to be fair. Fantastic drive. Neil Bywater with an exceptional finish towards the end there. David Gerrard giving and defending as much as he can. Kai, wow, what a race, Kai. From where you started, your fourth place is better off, and you battled right to the end. And you got him on the next to last lap. Awesome. Well done, Kai. And then we got Craig, who's coming over behind him. So this could be the case of the tyres on the Bentley. Mark Christopher coming over in 9th place. And Krista coming over behind him, who's now getting pressure from that's a car being lapped. Andy Goddard's next. Steady as she goes there for Andy in the Team Rhythm Tech. With Neil Bywater giving Jeremy's team a good rack of points there. So two drivers racing is obviously going to give you double points to some degree. Oh, I didn't know you were there, Eric. I must have missed that. Sorry, my friend. And then we've got Andreas coming over. I've got Kenneth coming over. And that is the race defined as it is. So they are your finished positions. Just like to thank everybody for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed being your host. Sorry, I was writing solo, but that's the nature of the beast sometimes. But you know, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. So I just want to thank everyone for their efforts, watching, and the comments in the stream. It's been really helpful. So, good morning, good day, and good afternoon to each and every one of you. Thanks very much.